raise anchors and we can begin to sail to where the world it ends. Drop over the horizon and start again. Fire the cannons, feel the smoke in your breath. Send your enemies down to the depths where Davy Jones' treasures are kept. Locked down deep where we can't intercept them. It's a pirate's life for me. Time to set sail, yes, men all aboard. Load up your pistols and sharpen your swords. We'll lose some battles, but we'll win the wars. Show no fear and earn your rewards. And
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Good morning, Jammers. Welcome to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. I am your host, Brad Brock. And I thank you so much for joining me this morning over on YouTube, Facebook, or if you're listening in on JNC Radio, that's awesome too. Of course, you could listen to JNC Radio on jncpodcast.com or through the LIVE365 Radio App, available for free at your favorite app store. So go check that out. And thanks for joining me this morning. As per usual, and without fail, some technical snafus that I'm working through. But that's what happens when you have a lot of moving parts. No worries, no worries. We got a cold front coming through here in the Treasure Coast and Palm Beach area, South Florida area. What does that mean for us? Absolutely nothing. It means that we're gonna knock a couple degrees off of our typical temperatures here this time of year. But little weather check for this area. It's Thursday morning, of course, November 17th. And this morning we got a cooler start to the day. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s under partly to mostly cloudy skies. And that seems to go hand in hand with what I'm seeing out the window. It looks a bit like a snow day. If any of you are from up north or spend time up north, you know, when the sky looks like that outside, you're like, oh, yeah, perhaps it's a snow day. You get a day off of work or school. School more so than work, I imagine. But let's see here. But there's no weather issues for the morning drive, so you're clear and good to go. This afternoon, the highs are going to get into the upper 70s to the low 80s. Mostly cloudy skies for Palm Beach County and more sunshine towards the Treasure Coast. A bit breezy near the coast today as well, and we should be rain-free throughout the day, which is great. Moving into tomorrow, a refreshing day in store with low humidity. And we'll start the day on the chilly and crisp side of the morning in the low to mid-60s. And the afternoon highs are going to get up into the upper 70s. A few coastal showers are possible, but rain chances stay low. And there you go. That's your weather for today. Bye, Jordan. Jordan's taking off, making her way out there into the workforce. Good for her. All right. We got some national days today. Again, still working through some technical things here that I'm working with. It never fails. I restarted the computer just to give it a fresh start. You know, I don't want to overwork the old girl. And sure enough, we restart the computer and everything is in chaos. That's all right. And of course, you don't know until you get everything going what you're going to run into. It's like the never-ending mystery. It's wonderful. So our national days today, we've got a few. For those of you that, and of course, tons of food, which is wonderful. For those of you that enjoy baking at home, today is National Homemade Bread Day. November 17th, homes will fill with warm, comforting homes will fill with the warm, comforting aromas, reminding us to slow down and enjoy National Homemade Bread Day. Yeast bread calls for us to slow down. We need to spend time with each other as we work the dough and let it rest and rise before baking. Quick breads allow a special treat to share and enjoy with coffee or tea. Other homemade breads, such as donuts, pretzels, muffins, and biscuits, add a variety to our everyday meals. Baking them with friends and family brings joy and an opportunity to exchange recipes. So there you go. National Homemade Bread Day. I remember when I was growing up, my parents had the bread machine. You put all the ingredients in, and the machine does all the work for you. And it really does fill the house with just a wonderful, wonderful smell of fresh baked bread. It's really, really nice. Let's see. What else do we got going on? It's still in the food world. It's National Baklava Day. November 17th, the National Baklava Day fills the kitchen with an aroma of a sweet and flaky pastry. Baklava's sweet layers of texture and flavor are created between sheets of phyllo pastry, filled with chopped nuts and drizzled with syrup or honey. Many believe baklava to have originated with the Turkic people in Central Asian nations. However, many countries prepare the dessert in a variety of ways. The word baklava first appeared in English in 1650. And if you've never tried baklava, try sampling the many varieties. You got walnuts, pecans, pistachios, or almonds. They can be used. The filling can be composed of raisins, dates, prunes, and even figs. Most baklava recipes call for cinnamon, cardamom, or cloves. And sometimes, those overachievers, you put in all three. So there you go. National Baklava Day. And all of these things are made just so much better by butter. And it's amazing because today is National Butter Day. Yes. That's right. Few ingredients make a meal richer and more flavorful than butter. On November 17th, National Butter Day gives this creamy ingredient and those who make it a pat on the back. Butter's been used by humans for thousands of years. As recently as the first half of the last century, the butter churn was an essential tool in many kitchens. When butter was rationed during World War II, households struggled to get along without this delicious staple. Butter can be used in simple and complex ways. Spread a pat of butter on a warm toast for an instant hit of flavor and texture, or use it to create the light, flaky layers in a croissant. Croissant. That's French for croissant. It also enhances the mouthfeel of hot drinks, like coffee and cocktails. And it keeps meats tender while roasting. Butter is the crucial ingredient in mouth-watering sauces, rich cookies, creamy mashed potatoes, hearty casseroles, and so much more. Did you know the average American eats 6.3 pounds or 25 sticks of cow's butter every single year? I know I do. I can see it right here on me. Around the world, butter can be found in cuisines of every culture, and each one uses it to enhance their recipes and enrich their lives. National Butter Day today. You can use it. I'll give you permission. Paul said in the chats there, body by butter. That's my philosophy. Today's also National Take a Hike Day. No, not what you think. Not hey, take a hike. National Take a Hike Day on November 17th encourages us to get out there and hit the trails. With over 60,000 miles of trails in the national trail system across the 50 states, there's no lack of opportunity to take a hike. Some of those trails, are hundreds of years old. For example, the oldest continuously used trail in the United States is the Crawford Path in New Hampshire. The beginnings of the mountain path were cleared to the summit of Mount Washington in 1819. Other trails allow us to follow the footsteps of Lewis and Clark to explore even more ancient history, like the Effigy Mounds National Monument. There you go. Get out there, do some walking, be one with nature. It's going to be wonderful. Today is also National Rural Health Day. Speaking of getting out there and doing some walking, focuses on the medical resources rural communities offer and how it impacts small towns and their citizens. The third Thursday in November each year highlights the varied opportunities rural health offers and the benefits it brings to these modest hubs of economic vitality in the heartland. Around the nation, over 60 million Americans live and work in rural communities. In these thriving centers of industry, health clinics and hospitals provide much-needed care to a varied population. So there you go. Rural Health Day. If you have your local small-town doctor, give him a high five or a good fist bump today if you see about and about. Let's see. What else do we have today? It's also the Great American Smokeout each year on the third Thursday in November. The American Cancer Society sponsors the Great American Smokeout. That sounds weird, right? It's not. This is an annual social engineering event to encourage Americans to stop tobacco smoking. The Great American Smokeout challenges smokers to quit cigarettes for 24 hours with the hopes that this decision will continue forever. There are benefits to 1 day without cigarettes. After just 20 minutes without a cigarette, the heart rate drops. Did you know that? Now you do. So does the blood pressure. 12 hours later, the body will cleanse the carbon monoxide from the last cigarette from the body. That's a great start. If you make it past 1 day, your risk of heart attack begins to decrease along with heart disease and stroke after just 1 day. So keep it up. Did you know after 2 days, things start tasting and smelling better? That's because your nerves are healing from the smoke damage. Day 3 may be tough. The nicotine is leaving your body and symptoms of withdrawal may occur, but you could do it. By 1 month, you may notice you could breathe better. The coughing is less. Your lungs may be clearer. And you can find out more by visiting the American Cancer Society website. And they've got great advice if you're trying to quit smoking. Today's the day. All right, is there anything else? Blah, 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 blah. I think that's it. Those are your national days. Always a day to celebrate every day. So get out there and make some baklava, put your butter on it, and have a side of bread. Homemade bread there. Quit smoking while you're at it. Sounds like a plan. All right. We're going to take a quick music break before we dive into our stories today. And I can try to assess some of these problems. Yeah, Paul was like, it's not just me that the reboot doesn't help. No, in fact, everything has been working fine for the few days, Paul, that the computer has been operating. And I was like, oh, let me just give it a little reboot, a nice fresh start to the day. And everything went to hell in a handbasket. But I'm going to get it figured out. And hopefully in the time it takes to get back to the show. I'm going to take a little musical break as mentioned. I don't know what I'm going to play, but it's going to be awesome. Let's see. What to play. Now, here's one. We're going to do one by Justin Shapiro. This is Cool Blue River. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
connected again. Take me down to that cool blue river so that I can feel connected again to the sky, clear blue skies. And I sing to the other side, feeling small, so close to heaven. This is the greatest thing I've done, the greatest thing that I have ever saw. There could not be a more perfect place. And we swim in the waters, in the mountains. Let's all just disappear. I'm so high. Are you the same? The wind whispers, and it's calling out my name. This is my place, where I belong, with all of you in mind, while I write another song. There could not be a more perfect place. There could not be a more perfect place. There could not be a better place. Take me down to that cool blue river so that I can feel connected again. Take me down to that cool blue river so that I can feel connected again. Take me down, take me down, oh, take me down, oh, take me down, oh, down, 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 take me down.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show.
That's right. You are listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. And that, of course, was Justin Shapiro. Cool Blue River. Thank you so much for tuning in here. I am watching the chats and comments. If you got anything to chime in on these stories coming up, I'd love to hear all about it. So check it out. Seriously, the Treasure Coast is the brand new hub for lottery. Everybody should be playing because people are winning here. It's unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you another story. It's so crazy. I thought that this was the same story as last week, so I kind of skipped over it. But I found out that it's a completely different story. So last week we were talking a little bit about a gentleman, a 51-year-old man in Jensen Beach winning the Mega Millions. Won $1 million from the Mega Millions drawing. He got all the numbers except for the Mega Million ball or whatever, the big one. And he won $1 million. I think that's just great. But just this past week, another man, 41, in Port St. Lucie, won $1 million from a scratch-off ticket. Wow. I'm going to have to go out and play. I'm going to have to go out and play today because let me tell you, the things I could do with $1 million. Here's the story. Port St. Lucie man claimed $1 million prize from the 500 times the cash scratch-off lottery game. That was announced by the Florida Lottery just yesterday. Jeff Voltaire, 41, of Port St. Lucie. Wow, I would never put my name out there. But he chose to get his winnings as a one-time lump sum payment of $820,000. He claimed his prize in Tallahassee as the lottery headquarters. He bought the winning ticket from a 7-Eleven store on the 1600 block of Southwest St. Lucie West Boulevard in St. Lucie West. Would you believe that? The store will get a $2,000 bonus for selling the winning ticket. Just to let you know, though, the 500 times the cash scratch-off is a $50 game. It has a top prize of $25 million. So sometimes you got to put it in, you know. You're not going to get much off of those dollar scratchers. Sometimes you get your money back. Sometimes you get double your money back, which is really, when you think about it, that's the real winner. You could double your money back. It's amazing. It's a great investment at that point. An even better investment, though, is $50 for $820,000 of them back. So congratulations to Jeff. And I might have to get out there and play a scratcher. Well, show. Paul said, new segment, Florida Man Lotto Edition. It's becoming that way. Right here on the Treasure Coast. It's unbelievable. All that hype about the Powerball. And people are winning millions left and right. Pow, pow, pow. I have to get on that train. Yes. I had an interesting story. You guys know, if you listen to the show at length, you know how I feel about disturbing the dead. Well, that's just what they do over in Egypt. Unleashing unfathomable curses upon the living here on Earth. And this is just another example. You want to blame climate change on something? Blame it on this. Because that's what this is all about. Hundreds of mummies and pyramid of an unknown queen unearthed right near King Tut's tomb. Remember we talked about King Tut's tomb, how all those people on that archaeology team were like unusually, suspiciously dying? Let's open up the tomb right next door. Just a stone's throw away from King Tut's tomb, archaeologists have unearthed the pyramid of a never-before-known ancient Egyptian queen. A cache of coffins, mummies, and artifacts, and a series of interconnected tunnels have all been discovered. For the past 2 years, archaeologists have been working at Saqqara, an archaeological site in Giza, about 20 miles south of Cairo. Recently, they discovered a trove of coffins and mummies, which may belong to some of King Tut's closest generals and advisors during his reign. Archaeologists also focus their attention on a nearby pyramid which belonged to Teti, the first king of the 6th dynasty, Egypt. Teti was worshipped as a god in the New Kingdom period, and so people wanted to be buried near him. According to Zahi Hawass, an Egyptologist who's working on the dig and formerly served as Egypt's Minister of Antiquities. However, he said most burials known in Saqqara previously were either from the Old Kingdom or the late period. Now we have found 22 interconnected shafts ranging from 30 to 60 feet, all with New Kingdom burials. Buried within these shafts, archaeologists found a huge limestone sarcophagus, along with 300 beautiful coffins from the New Kingdom period. Burials from the New Kingdom were not known to be common in the area before, so this is entirely unique to the site, according to Hawass. The coffins have individual faces, each one unique, distinguishing between men and women, and are decorated with the scenes from the Book of the Dead, which is an ancient Egypt funerary text. Each coffin also has the name of the deceased and often shows the 4 sons of Horus who protected the organs of the deceased. If discovering the coffins wasn't astonishing enough, when researchers, of course, lifted the coffin lids, because that's what you do, they were surprised to find the mummies were in pretty good condition, even after all these centuries. This shows that mummification reached its peak in the New Kingdom, according to Hawass. Said some coffins have 2 lids. I wonder why 2. The most amazing coffin so far has a mask of a woman made completely of solid gold. He added, inside the coffins and tomb shafts are also various artifacts, including games, such as the ancient game of Senet, a Shabtis, statue of the god Ta Sokar, and even a metal axe found in the hand of an army soldier. In addition, researchers found a pyramid commemorating a queen whose identity was previously unknown. We've since discovered that her name was Neith, and she had never before been known from the historical record. How was said, it's amazing to literally rewrite what we know of history, adding a new queen to our records. And, rather than leaving well enough alone, a selection of the coffins and antiquities found at the excavation site will be on display at the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, which is slated to open next year. Oh, goody! Let's go and find an ancient burial ground known to curse mankind in modern times. Let's open all of the caskets, and then instead of closing them and putting them back, let's take them out and put them in a museum so that people can come and gawk at them. This, my friends, is how the end of times happens. No other way. Nuclear war? Nope. It's going to be ancient Egyptian curses from basically desecrating ancient burial grounds of people who were touted as gods and celebrated as such. These stories get my blood pressure up, and we all know that's a bad thing. Why? Why would you open these caskets? I don't know. Curiosity killed the cat, they say. More on that. Operative word is moron. I'm sure in news to come. Can't wait. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think, because I've made it very clear my stance on going and digging through burial grounds, especially ancient ones, that clearly have said, if you mess with this, we're going to curse you forever. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good thing that they're excavating these places and removing the bodies of these people? Or do you think that they should leave well enough alone? We stumbled upon it, we found it, put a little flag, said we were here, and move on. But I'd like to know what you think. Of course, you could let me know in the chats and comments. I am watching and reading. But moving on, I suppose. Let's see. We got some music news, and here's another one that really grinds my gears, because we talked about this just recently, just yesterday, in fact, about people going to concerts and chucking things at the performers. This is becoming a trend, and perhaps it's been a trend for a while, but now I'm seeing it in news stories consistently. Why do people do this? I have no idea. Why would you pay money to go through all that to get in to see somebody perform and then throw something at them? Are you that excited, or are you just a malicious twit? I don't know. Here's the story. Harry Styles, who we mentioned yesterday having chicken nuggets chucked at him earlier this year. Harry Styles suffered yet another unfortunate injury on tour thanks to a rowdy fan throwing objects at him from the pit. And this time he took some Skittles right to the eye. Entertainment Weekly reports the singer was about to perform the final song of the night, Kiwi, when someone from the crowd threw a handful of Skittles directly at him. One of those candies managed to hit the singer square in the eye. The fan-caught videos show him heavily flinching upon contact. Imagine that. Despite being and this is what sets Harry Styles apart from Morrissey, who we talked about yesterday. Despite being unable to open his left eye, Harry continued on with his final bows and powered through the last song. The singer was filmed rubbing his eye and trying to open it during the performance. Harry's musical director and member of his backing band, Pauly, the PSM, took to Instagram Live later that night to tell fans that Harry was doing okay and pleaded, "Do me a favor, don't throw no more Skittles on stage." Quote, Harry also joined the live and joked he might be wearing an eye patch for the next show. He's currently completing a 15-day residency at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. While fans took to social media to praise Harry's dedication to putting on a good show, they also lambasted whoever threw the Skittles. Fans are now urging their fellow concert-goers to stop throwing objects on stage. What a concept. The official Skittles Twitter also issued a statement, tweeting, "Didn't think I needed to say this, but please don't throw Skittles." This isn't the first time Harry was injured by something a fan threw from the pit. He had to shake off being hit in the groin by a water bottle during his show in Chicago last month. And not even in this article a mention about the chicken nuggets. What the hell is wrong with some of these people? Back in the day, women used to throw their panties and bras at the entertainers on stage. Now they're getting hit with Skittles, water bottles, chicken nuggets, you name it. We talked about Steve Lacy just yesterday getting a disposable camera thrown at him, to which he threw to the ground and stomped. Good. This is a ridiculous trend. They're going to make you take everything out of your pockets and leave it in a lockbox. They've already done it. We went to see, earlier this year, Jordan and I went to see John Mayer at a show down in South Florida. And they had these rows of portable lockboxes, and you had to put your purse and anything else in there. You weren't able to bring anything in with you. And to boot, you had to pay for them. Good way to make a buck. But I get it. This stuff is crazy to me. So there we go. 2 stories in a row where I'm completely infuriated by people. Here's a story that I'm not so mad about. I think it's kind of funny. So I figured I'd give you this story with a bit of a levity. Apparently the Smashing Pumpkins have responded to a video of a teacher introducing her students to their music for the very first time, and the whole interaction was priceless. Teacher Sierra Johnson, who goes by the username j.money.baby on TikTok, has a series on her account where she plays a variety of different music for her students, and when asked, and then she asked them to write down how they feel about it after listening. Well, last week she tried out the Smashing Pumpkins, and the band saw the viral video. They posted their own reaction on Twitter yesterday. They said, quote, "Don't worry, the young and old both love/hate Smashing Pumpkins. It's not just a younger generation thing," they said. It seems like the Smashing Pumpkins got a mixed review from the kids. One student said, "It's like unicorns," while another wrote, "I like it. Psych, it sounds like it's from the 80s. Ouch. Johnson herself couldn't escape the kids' roasts. Multiple students share their opinions of her playlists, including one who said, "Mrs. Johnson's playlist is like the worst song I have ever heard. My grandma can sing better than that." Another said, "Mrs. Johnson's playlist is like my toilet after Taco Bell night." Kids will say the darndest things, won't they? Smashing Pumpkins. And I totally get it. I would say that I enjoy their music, but I wouldn't consider myself a super fan. I think they were very, very good in their heyday. And still continue to be great. Billy Corgan is a wonderful artist. And I take nothing away from their accomplishments. Just not my bag. I don't believe that it sounds like a toilet after Taco Bell night. But, hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And apparently entitled to throw Skittles at entertainers that you've paid to go see. Maybe they won tickets on the radio. I don't know. Outrageous. Smashing Pumpkins. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick music break, second of the afternoon or the morning, whatever time it is. We're going to come back. I'm going to hit you with a top 10 list of practical jokes that went too far. You get your celebrity birthdays, and then I've got some shameless plugs for you to get you on with your day. We're going to do a tune here by Allegra Miles. This is her song, Eyes. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. We'll be right back.
Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. Baby, you got me. First time that you hit me with your gaze, you know that I'm gone, 'cause you got me. Constantly you got me stuck in this daze. Something in your eyes, your eyes, your eyes, oh. Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. How do you do these things? You found your way deep inside of my soul. The way there's a move, oh, it's so healing. You got this way of making me whole. Something in your eyes, your eyes, oh. Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. Why you gotta go and look at me like that? Yeah, your eyes always are giving me a heart attack. You start looking at me, I know there's no turning back. Whoa, oh, oh. Something in your eyes. In your eyes.
All right, we're back. Jams and Coffee in the Morning. That was Allegra Miles with Eyes. Good stuff. Thank you so much for joining me this morning over on YouTube, Facebook, or if you're listening on JNC Radio. I appreciate all of that. I hope that you follow us wherever you're listening and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. That would be delightful in many ways. All right. Well, we have a pretty fun top 10 for you today. These are 10 practical jokes that went too far. So sit back, relax, and let's do this top 10. Here we go. All right. Everybody loves a good prank, don't they? Pranks are supposed to be a harmless way to play a joke on a friend or family member in an innocuous and good-natured way. However, small pranks sometimes start prank wars. Everybody knows what a prank war is, right? Causing the practical jokes to spiral out of control, becoming mean and sometimes even dangerous. While a good prank is a work of art, some jokesters just don't know when to stop. Others simply should never have started pranking in the first place. Our list today includes 10 practical jokes that went a bit too far. These hilarious pranksters touch on political corruption, lacing drugs into baked goods, fake national disasters, and pregnancy. What a guess! As we go through this list of ill-advised pranks, remember this advice. When it comes to practical jokes, less is almost always more. Also, please consider safety because none of the pranks below ended the way the jokers thought that they would. So let's dive right into it here in the top 10. Number 10 on our list. The first prankster here decided to take things way too far. As we all know, religion and politics are two things people do not take lightly. So what about a fake presidential candidate? Sure, that could be funny, but this practical joker took things to a whole new level by deciding to impersonate one of the most infamous presidents in the United States history. Not the one you're thinking of, folks, the other one. In 1992, this prankster claimed to be the notorious Richard Nixon. He conducted a radio interview with NPR in which he said that he was running for president again. In the interview, he doubled down on his famous "I'm not a crook" statement and said he never did anything wrong and I won't do it again. Well, we can admit that is a funny thing to say, and made even funnier when a convincing Nixon impersonation. It was not funny when thousands of people thought the disgraced Republican was actually re-seeking the presidency. Anybody remember that? Anybody around in 1992 to remember that all going down? What a time to be alive. Pre-social media days. All you had to go on was radio broadcasts and the nightly news. Number 9 on our list. This is an old one. Old standard here. All sorts of senior pranks have backfired in high schools across the country, but this one takes the cake. Or perhaps the muffin. Two Dallas area high school students decided to bake up some special treats for their high school faculty. But these weren't ordinary muffins, were they? The students laced them with a secret ingredient. Marijuana. That's correct. Reportedly, the two seniors put their special muffins into the teacher's lounge. Obviously, the muffins looked tasty because many of the teachers ate them. However, the boys must have done something wrong because 19 staff members had to take trips to the emergency room in the aftermath. So, safe to say that this prank did not go how the students intended. No word on what happened to those kids, but yeah, man, you can't. It's rule number 1. You can't give drugs to people without prior knowledge. I think that goes without saying, but I'm saying it. Like, it's not a prank because people start to feel weird and they don't understand what's happening to them. You know, that you might as well be date raping them at that point. Yeah, that's a big no-no. Can't do that. Funny, but you should never get somebody high without their knowledge. That's lame. Lame prank. Took it too far. Number 8 on our list here. With some of these pranks, it's hard to really figure out what the jokesters were even thinking. And the next prank falls squarely into that category. Being the editor of a newspaper in a small city in Jordan is probably a challenging job. But what are the best ways to draw people to your city and attract tourists? Well, here are 3 possibilities. Writing about the improved infrastructure, local festivals, and beautiful architecture. Well, in 2010, the local newspaper of Jafar, Jordan, took a different approach, an otherworldly one. In order to draw attention to their city, the newspaper ran an article indicating that a UFO had landed near their fair city. Instead of increasing interest, the article caused panic. The mayor of Jafar evacuated more than 10,000 people. Well, it's hard to figure out exactly what the newspaper was thinking. At least the article was printed on April Fool's Day, so maybe that should have been at least one clue to the citizens of Jafar. Interesting. It reminds me of the radio broadcast of, what was it, War of the Worlds? Or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. One of those way back before I was born. Got people up in a frenzy. Number 7 on our list. A couple of pranks together. A couple that pranks together also laughs and sometimes cries together. Next prank on our list comes from a couple of professional pranksters. Comedian Robin Armstrong and his girlfriend had a YouTube channel where they would share the various pranks that they played on one another. His girlfriend came up with a prank she thought their subscribers would love. Armstrong's girlfriend rigged a chair to explode, planning for it to launch Armstrong into a pool. Well, Armstrong did not see the prank coming, and when the chair exploded, things went awry. Can you imagine? Can't imagine that happening. He was shot more than 10 feet into the air and didn't land in the pool, folks. Nope. Instead, he landed on the ground and broke his back. The fortunate news for this prankster couple is that Armstrong did not suffer any permanent damage, although he had to spend several weeks at the hospital. What? Oh, my God. All for subscribers and likes. That's crazy. You blew up your boyfriend. Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad that he survived. Number 6 on our list. Let's see. Number 6 on our list. Maybe it's just me, but I've never seen so much humor, or I've never seen much humor in messing with traffic signs that are designed to keep everybody safe. Well, I guess I'm not cut out to be a prankster. 2 idiots near Columbus, Ohio, thought traffic signs did not provide them with enough entertainment and decided to make some adjustments. They covered a stop sign, arguably the most important of all traffic signs, and made it so drivers could not see it. The teenage pranksters did this by wrapping the sign completely with plastic wrap and petroleum jelly. They were so proud of the work that they even talked about it on social media, because that's what geniuses do. Don't you know? Fortunately, many drivers were familiar with the area and stopped regardless, even without the visible sign. But eventually their luck ran out, and 2 elderly sisters were driving and didn't see the sign. The vehicle was struck by oncoming traffic and killed the passenger immediately. The driver eventually had to have her leg amputated above the knee. Both pranksters were eventually held accountable for their actions, taking guilty pleas for the reckless homicide. Idiots, man. Too far. Number 5 on our list. This prank is a 2-parter, so enjoy it. Took place on the most famous of pranking holidays, of course, April Fool's Day, back in 2013. This one is extra ridiculous, so here we go. These pranks relate to a young couple in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And at the time, Tori Wheeler, an 18-year-old, came up with a 2-part practical joke to play on her boyfriend at the time, Derek Bauer. Wheeler's premise was pretty straightforward. She told Bauer that she was pregnant. What a gag. However, Wheeler was far from finished. Bauer did not respond to her practical joke in the way that she liked, so she pulled out a knife. The police were called before anyone was hurt, but Wheeler claimed that she had pulled the knife out as a prank as well. That all kidding aside, this prank clearly went too far, and we should all be thankful that no one was injured and that we are not dating this woman, Tori Wheeler. Make sure she's not on your friends list on the Facebook. Good God. Number 4 on our list. And, of course, throughout this list, we've seen some pranks on politics, road signs, knives, and pregnancies. What else is hilarious? Oh, that's right. Robbing a bank. What fun. What fun. The twin pranksters Alex and Alan Stokes thought of this inarguably clever and funny idea. The twins at least had the wisdom not to go inside the bank to attempt their practical joke. They brought their own cash in bags and had masks covering their face outside the bank's front entrance. Then they called an Uber driver who was intended to be the prank victim. But like a reasonable citizen, the Uber driver refused to give a ride to 2 people who appeared to have robbed a bank. Well, as most things go, nearby observers must not have gotten the joke. As the police were called on the twins, the police were kind and let the boys go. However, they couldn't let this funny joke die, and they tried it again on the very same day. This time they were charged. Greedy. For supposedly professional pranksters with a significant YouTube following, this practical joke was poorly thought out and went way too far. Again, subscribers and likes. What are the limits? There are none. No, sir. Number 3. Next on our list here is a prank from a Boston television news segment. It took place, of course, again on April Fool's Day back in 1980. Producer Homer Silly created an entire broadcast as a prank. In the report, the news station alerted citizens about a hill in nearby Milton, Massachusetts. It indicated that although it's just a hill and was never shown in any seismic activity, the Great Blue Hill was beginning to erupt. The newscasters described the lava and danger in great detail. There were also warnings coming from the American president at the time, Jimmy Carter. As the cherry on top, the producer also included real volcano footage to really sell the prank. Well, guess what? It worked, and citizens definitely thought there was a volcanic eruption and panicked, many taking out their ire on the TV station. Well, you know, it's all fun and games until someone gets fired, and that's exactly what happened to producer Homer Silly. He was fired for the joke. You can't mess with people in the news, man. Number 2 on our list. 3 high school pranksters from Brooklyn had a similar prank to number 9 above, but it was far more malicious. The students made some tasty cakes for their teachers. These were covered on top with what appeared to be red candy. The candy, though, was actually a laxative. Another thing you can't do to people. It's lame. As you might expect, none of the teachers found this prank amusing. 5 reported significant health concerns. To be honest, I don't know how these practical jokers ever expected this prank to just go any differently, but they are just fortunate that nobody got more seriously hurt. Crazy. You can't make people just crap all day. People have things to do. And number 1 on our list of practical jokes that went wrong. Went too far. Here we go. This is another butt-related prank. This is the final item on the list. And this one involves a specific tool used in manufacturing. Compressed air. Compressed air, of course, is used for a variety of things in manufacturing, and it's certainly not intended to be used for practical jokes, but, alas, you wouldn't have made the list otherwise. Compressed air comes with enormous force, enough to push through the skin. In 2018, in Japan, one man thought it would be funny to use the air unconventionally, and he directed the compressed air towards a colleague's backside. Well, the results, as you might expect, were horrific. The air shot through the victim's clothes and into his body, all the way into his lungs, and this led to his eventual death. So remember, keeping pranks small and harmless is the way to keep them funny. Compressed air. He killed that man. God, that's murder. So, you pranksters out there, just maybe think it through at least 2 or 3 times before you go and pull off the greatest prank ever. And certainly don't do it for likes on don't do it for likes on social media. That's your top 10 list here. Pranks that have gone awry. Let's give it a round of applause. All right, you guys. Let's see. What do I have here? Got some celebrity birthdays. Just a few today. Some good ones. Danny DeVito turning 78 years old today. There's a longtime actor who won an Emmy Award and a Golden Globe Award for his role as Louis De Palma in the television series Taxi. He's appeared in such films as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, L.A. Confidential, Batman Returns, Get Shorty, Matilda, and Mars Attacks. In 2006, he began starring in the television series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So happy birthday, Danny DeVito. Turning 62 years old today, a famous cross-dressing star of the VH1 celebrity talk show, RuPaul. RuPaul's turning 62. He's made cameos in several films, including To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And in 2009, he began hosting the series RuPaul's Drag Race, which has since exploded into a global phenomenon. So happy birthday, RuPaul, 62. Turning 44 years old today, Rachel McAdams, lovely lady, after starring in 2002's comedy film The Hot Chick. She went on to play leading roles in Mean Girls, The Notebook, Wedding Crashers, Midnight in Paris, and The Time Traveler's Wife. She also played Annie Bezarides in the second season of HBO's crime series True Detective, and later starred in Marvel's Doctor Strange. Happy birthday, Rachel McAdams. Turning 44 years old today, Welsh actor best known for his role as Dr. Oliver Cousins on the television soap opera EastEnders, Tom Ellis. 44 today. He had gained further fame starring as the titular role on Fox's television series Lucifer. Tom Ellis. Film legend turning 80 years old today. Of course, the acclaimed director whose films frequently feature gangsters and focus on the world of crime, Martin Scorsese. 80 years old, his iconic films include Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and Goodfellas. In 2006, he won his first Academy Award for Best Director for his film The Departed, after previously being nominated 5 times. So, happy birthday, Martin Scorsese. And turning 55, double nickel. Today, singer for such R&B, soul, and hip-hop groups as New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe, Ronnie DeVoe, celebrating his 55th birthday today. Happy birthday to all of our celebrities today. Let's see if we have any local birthdays. Let's see. Sometimes they show up for me. Let's see. My good buddy Josh celebrating a birthday today. My good friend Bobby Laredo, DJ Bobby Laredo, celebrating his birthday today. Let's see. My friend Jordan, my friend Patty. Happy birthday to all of you out there celebrating your birthdays today. All right, you guys. Just got a few shameless plugs for you before I let you get back on with your day. First and foremost, I will see you tonight at Manatee Island and Fort Pierce at 5:30 p.m. We'll be there from 5:30 to 8:30. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. It'll be a little windy, so they usually put the little flaps down. It's right on the inlet there. They put the flaps down, and they, sometimes it's not so bad, but maybe bring a light coat. But yeah, come out and hang out with me. That'll be nice. I love playing in Manatee. It's a wonderful place. Check out JNC Radio, as I mention all the time. That's a great way to stay connected with us and listen to this show. If you're ever driving or in a place where you don't necessarily are able to watch it, you can put the app right on your phone, the Live365 app on your phone, and let that run. Listen to me run my mouth all morning long and never have to see this beautiful face. So check that out, JNC Radio. You can listen to it through our website at jncpodcast.com or, as mentioned, on the Live365 Radio app, available for free wherever you get your apps. Just get in there, search for JNC Radio, and add us to your favorites. Shout out to our friends and partners at the Code Rum, Hop Life Brewing, Sneaky Tiki, and the Bug Juice, insect repellent, and their full line of skincare products. Please support those who support us and support local when you can. Shout out to Paul, who's been hanging with us this morning in the Drums and Rums podcast. His live stream, the biggest happy hour and a half hour, is going on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune into that. You can find that through our website, jncpodcast.com. It'll be right there on the front page, streaming. If you click on that, it'll take you right to the Drums and Rums YouTube channel. Please go there and subscribe as well. Show Paul some love. Oh, tomorrow's happy hour. Yes. Okay, so it's not happening tonight. Happening tomorrow. So check out tomorrow's live stream. He's moving it on down the line. That's okay. We can manage that. So tonight's is now tomorrow. But either way, it's a great live stream whenever he decides to air it. And that'll be on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check that out and show Paul some love. And lastly here on the list is our Patreon page. It's like ongoing subscription-based crowd sourcing or crowdfunding for all the shenanigans that we pull off either on the morning shows or on the podcast, the Jams and Cocktails podcast. It's $5 a month. You get some behind-the-scenes footage, which I'm getting better at putting up there. And really, it's a great way to just help us offset some of the costs of doing some of the things that we do. We have some big stuff planned for this coming season, so writing checks. That's what we do here. we don't get a lot of checks in. We write a lot of checks though. So if you are able and willing, and preferably both, check out our Patreon page. You can find that link at jncpodcast.com. or on our social medias, anywhere there. And consider a $5 monthly subscription to help us out. That would be wonderful. And, of course, the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Last night we replayed with a minor technical snafu. Thank you, Paul, for bringing it to my attention. But we replayed the Pocky One Chip Challenge episode. So fun. We actually fooled Kevin McLaughlin. He thought that it was live. He couldn't believe that we were responding to him in the chats. He texts me. He's like, I think I'm being bamboozled. And I said, I think you are. But yeah, that was the JNC replay last night was a lot of fun. Thank you those who tuned in and hung out in the chats. That was good fun. I appreciate you reliving that with us. And next week though, I believe next week's the week where we're going to do the Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz mashup. That will be live. So we'll be there. I think it'll be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And that's of course Thanksgiving Eve. So the idea is to keep you home and not out on amateur night. And so you'll be safe with us watching a really cool mashup of the Wizard of Oz and the Dark Side of the Moon. That legendary conspiracy. On how that all went together. So I'll finalize that this weekend and we'll let you know for sure. But that would be at 8 p.m. We would start it at 8. There would be a half an hour mini podcast where we're just going to catch you up on everything and talk a little bit about what we're about to get into, and then we're going to watch the film, and then we'll have a little chat afterwards, and that'll be the event. So more to come on that as we get through the weekend here. Otherwise, that's it, you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. As always, it really is special, and I appreciate you spending some time with me. So, whatever you do today, do it with a smile. Be kind to one another. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, broadcasting live from the legendary JNC Lounge. I'm Brad Brock. Ciao.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news, and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.